Hello students, parents, and caregivers. My name is Brittany LaSalle. I'm a teacher candidate studying at Grand Canyon University, and this is a brief presentation of historical events and court cases that have made the special education system what it is today. Families and students with disabilities have not always been protected with rights as they are today. The history of special education dates to World War II. It was during this time that many children were denied access to education simply from the unique abilities that they were born with. Children who had disabilities such as mental retardation, who were deaf or blind, and even those with physical handicaps often had to be schooled at home by parents and caregivers. One of the first advocacy groups to form to promote the need for change within the special education system was the American Association of Mental Deficiency, now known as the American Association of Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities. This group rallied for change, promoted equality, and aided families and caregivers for support within their community. In 1975, Education for All Handicapped Children Act was passed into law. It was this law that required schools to meet the needs of disabled students individually. This law also ensured that students would receive a free, appropriate public education regardless of their unique ability. 8 years later, in 1983, the law was expanded to add early intervention where the rights of preschool students would now be protected. This new and improved law was renamed Individuals with Disabilities Act, otherwise known as the IDEA. IDEA was most recently updated in 2004. The updates include individualized education plans, or IEPs, for all eligible students. It reiterates the free, appropriate public education ideas and shares information on least restrictive environment. This revised law also aligns with the No Child Left Behind Act of 2002, which was signed by President Bush. IDEA ensures the protection of rights for disabled students and their families. Unfortunately, there have been lawsuits by families on behalf of students with special needs. These lawsuits are what holds school systems accountable for ensuring that IDEA and other legislated special education acts remain upheld and students receive all the services they are entitled to. For example, let's check out cases such as Hartman versus the Loudoun County Board of Education. In this case, the Hartmans brought a suit against the school system on behalf of their son, an 11-year-old autistic child, who the school failed to educate him to the maximum extent appropriate as required by the Act's mainstream provision. Another known court case is the court case of Pennsylvania Association for Retarded Children versus the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Before the case, children were denied education if they had not attained a mental age of 5 years old by the time they reached their 8th birthday. In 1971, several parents who were represented by counsel from the association filed class action lawsuits against the Commonwealth and 13 school districts within the Commonwealth for considering their child to be untrainable or uneducable and denying them access to free public education. These laws were deemed unconstitutional and a settlement was reached in 1972. To stay up to date on current issues or for further information, resources, and support, families can check out the IDEA website as well as the Florida Department of Education.